indie and AA games have been under attack by the access media for years at this point, and it's only gotten worse since Claire Obscure Expedition 33 sweep at the Game Awards. And Lords of the Fallen 2 is also a title that has been heavily targeted because the developers are actually listening to their customer base, and now the gamer has put out this mega hit piece about how it's cementing itself as a game for all the wrong people. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, Lords of the Fallen has been a target for the access media for a very long time. They are extremely upset that this studio is listening to their customers and that they actually are making changes based on feedback, and that they are not promoting the woke agenda. The people over at The Gamer and at several other outlets are very angry that they have removed body type A and B, they have returned to normalcy and added male and female, and that the sequel actually features very attractive women. Paul Tassi had just gone on this hate campaign, The Gamer is on it now too, and it doesn't look like it's going to stop anytime soon, but that means we still have to defend them as much as possible. So, Jade King says Lords of the Fallen 2 is already cementing itself as a game for all the wrong people. And in these activists' minds, if you are not with them, if you are not promoting the ideology that they support, if you are not pushing their agenda, you are against them, you are an enemy. And they love to call us things like bigots and NZs and fascists because, in their twisted mind, it is more acceptable if something bad happens to you, if you're canceled because you said something they don't like. Oh, well, it's okay because they're a bigot. Oh, something actually happens to you in the real world. Well, it's okay because they were a fascist. It is disgusting, but this is the mindset that they push. And now Jade King is saying the Lords of the Fallen 2 publisher CI Games made it blatant back in January that it will steer clear of making its games political or including any social elements or agendas in its future titles. It claims featuring such things runs a high risk of pushing audiences away, and it would rather focus on serious games featuring serious stuff like sexy, scantily clad women. Whatever you want, I guess, just make sure to wash your hands when you're done. This deliberately ignores diverse and inclusive successes like Baldur's Gate 3, which went on to sell 20 million copies, and cherry picks high-profile cases like Concord to justify the belief that inclusion of queer characters and unconventionally attractive women makes a title fail. Modern games are apparently in such a terrible state not because of greedy executives, ballooning budgets, and difficult to sustain development cycles, but because the female characters aren't hot enough, which is insane to say. First of all, they are not deliberately ignoring the successes that games like Baldur's Gate 3 have had, but we are talking about more failures than successes in the terms of pushing DEI agendas. How many other games that push this so heavily and blatantly have done as good as Baldur's Gate 3? They really only have one or two examples, whereas we are seeing tons of modern AAA games release and be failures of epic proportions. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League went on to lose $250 million. Concord lost $300 to $500 million. Do you really think Marathon is going to make money? Probably not. Do you really think that Highguard is going to make money? Probably not. When you modernize, you lose money. And sure, we could sit here all day and go back to back, tit for tat, but are they going to have a conversation about it? No, they just want to sit here and also do what they are complaining about. They are saying, oh, you're cherry picking examples of games that have been failures. But Jade King, you are also cherry picking examples of games that have been successes. They say, though, that the people behind CI Games are, like, intentionally ignoring greedy executives ballooning budgets. They're not. Sure, they are sitting here talking about things like attractive women. They are sitting here talking about really making their games appeal to a larger audience, but it's not like they're completely ignoring these other factors. I'm sure if you actually tried to sit down and have conversations with these people, you would understand their point of view. I actually did an interview back at the beginning of 2025 with Marek Tyminski, the CI Games CEO. It was a phenomenal discussion. He's great to chat with, very easy guy to talk with, and he answered all of my questions very directly, very honestly, and I'm sure he would do the same exact thing for Jade King, but someone like Jade King won't sit down and have that conversation. None of these people do. I've invited people like Kim Belair on my channel before to have discussions, and do you ever see them happening? No, because these people want to live in their echo chamber, and if you are not with them and you're not going to promote them and push their ideology, they say, well, you are against them, and they view you as an enemy. And apparently attractive women is very bothersome to someone like Jade King. Apparently actually listening to your customer base is very upsetting to someone like Jade King, when, in my opinion, it only makes a game 10 times easier to support. We are seeing a company reject an agenda. We are seeing a company acknowledge normalcy. And that is a very positive thing, at least in my and clearly many other people's opinions. In this article, they go on to accuse him of stirring up fake outrage, saying it stinks of fake outrage, trying desperately to sell a 7 out of 10 Souls-like by playing up the idea that the modern gaming landscape has somehow robbed straight male audiences of traditional experiences they now have a responsibility to take back. A similar thing occurred with Shift Up's Stellar Blade, which was held up as a symbol of resistance in the modern culture war. The game wasn't afraid to put an incredibly gorgeous heroine front and center, whose chest, butt, and overall figure existed as objects for players to obsess over and customize. Newsflash, she is an object because she's not real. There was a belief among certain audiences that video game critics and progressive gamers were looking to tear Stellar Blade down, and they can sit here all they want and say that wasn't happening, but it was. We saw multiple hit pieces from access media outlets saying, oh, this game turns her into a doll and over-sexualizes her, and it's terrible because of that. I mean, we literally saw IGN come out and apologize to Shift Up for describing Eve as a sexualized doll to be used by someone who has never seen a woman. So you're saying that this didn't actually happen, Jade King. That is complete and utter BS. You are turning on your blinders because you have a job and you are desperate to keep it, but really you're just making yourself look ridiculous and you're making yourself look like a liar. And Marek Tyminski has posted a lot over the past couple of weeks, really, about the state of the video game industry. In my opinion, it's always good to hear from CEOs, but he said, we've talked directly to you this year to shape Lords of the Fallen 2, but according to the gamer, you're the wrong type of gamer. The article ignores almost everything we've shown in the last 2 trailers: epic bosses, lightning fast challenging combat, seamless day 1 co-op, endless build variety, and deep tactical options, which is so funny that they are writing an article saying, oh, boo-hoo, the CEO doesn't want to focus on politics in his game, when, on the flip side, they are sitting here ignoring what actually makes the game good and what makes it a full-blown experience in order to push politics. These people only view everything through a political lens because it's all they've got going for them, and it also makes them look pathetic. People like Kata are saying they don't understand that all this is going to do is make more people want to buy the game. They're always talking about supporting people in the industry until certain people in the industry actually respect what the player wants. If you're making fake gamer journalists cry, then you know you're on the right track. You are focusing on actual gamers, not activists who don't even buy the games they champion. After seeing the amazing updates and support you've put into the first game, I am buying this day 1, and yeah, I thought that it was really good. Did I think it was a 10 out of 10? No, but I also still thought it was very enjoyable, and I definitely will be playing the sequel when it comes out and covering the journalists putting up these hit pieces as much as possible because it looks really pathetic for them. So yeah, the gamer is now on this crusade, combined with Paul Tassi. They're all targeting indie and AA games like Lords of the Fallen because they are so desperate to support AAA slop, and they're just embarrassing themselves. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this important and informative, make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.